Okay, so the verdict for the Meta and YouTube case was that they were liable for causing social media like addiction within a younger user, and because of that, she said as a child she developed body dysmorphia, depression, anxiety. She started to self-harm herself, and just a bunch of other negative mentally health affecting things that really were not good for a young social media user like that. Um, and the jury found negligence, failure to warn, addictive design, malice, oppression, and fraud. And then both of the companies disagreed and planned to appeal, which I thought that was crazy. I didn't understand why they would disagree on something like that when this person is clearly laying out all of their struggles to the things that they have purposely done. And because of that disagreement across the news outlets, this case was definitely framed as intentional addictive design and not accidental harm. Like, that was just done by not knowing what they were doing. Like YouTube and Meta, they knew what was going on and what they were doing. And then some of the dark mechanisms that were within it were like brain hacking. So platforms that use engineered psychological hooks, like variable rewards, so like the slot machine likes, time notifications and streaks, cortisol driven anxiety. So like when you're like away from your phone, like the more like you're away from your phone and the further it is away from you, like the more stressed you are. And then fear and loneliness, which like the primitive emotional triggers, so it can be extremely isolating. Like, these applications are made for you to feel isolated and alone. And they are intentional design choices. Like, these are made purposely by these companies to make you feel like this, so you stay addicted and hooked on wanting to be in the social media realm. Gilbertson and Watson also talk about how addiction is scientifically measurable. So behavioral addiction, that is very measurable. Tech hijacks dopamine in the nucleus. MRIs show that cue reactivity, like substance addiction. So these are very measurable medically things. And then social media uses like variable ratio rewards, which is the most addictive one. And then it supports the idea that addiction is a designed outcome, not that it is like, oh, this could happen, you can become addicted. No, it's designed to be that way. Addiction is purposely set and made to have you hooked, to stay on these things, because that's how these applications stay going. Once these people are addicted and they're hooked and they feel like this is the only thing that they have to keep going with it. Downs and Harvey also talk about compulsive tech use. So like mobile devices intensify your addiction. So like the smaller and like more portable, like how we've gone from like back in like the 90s, just the big family computer, to now we have even like teensy little Apple Watches. Like, the more portable, it can definitely intensify that addiction. They also talk about how humans are bad at multitasking, and tech encourages that. So we are not the best. We're not really supposed to multitask. I do remember learning and discussing about that, but we do anyways. And then on top of that, bad tech also just encourages us to not be good at multitasking. And notifications equal triggers, and that's just a big loophole for everybody. And apps also use variable rewards, so the hook and model to create compulsion. So people always need something to keep them going. Likes, streaks. You post something, you get this many likes on it, you stay addicted to that feeling. And then excessive use can lead to anxiety, depression, poor sleep, loneliness, accidents, academic decline, mental health disorders, self-harm, body dysmorphia, like that young tech user that said that she got all of that stuff from Meta and YouTube. These companies exploit for profit. They don't do it for the better of the consumer. They exploit purposely for profit. And it shows harm is foreseeable, which makes liability reasonable. Like, that's awful. Like, these systems are designed to make you almost just hate yourself. And why the verdict makes sense is because addiction is predictable and it is well documented. You can actually catch addiction before it happens. And platforms are known to use addictive mechanisms. TikTok, Instagram, literally like the likes, the streaks, the comments, the follows, all of it. Harm to minors is also foreseeable as well. Like in young children, you can notice these behavioral changes like they've discussed in their chapters. And then companies also just fail to warn you about these things. So the design was not intentional, not accidental. It was legally responsible. And these companies, especially big tech, they should definitely be held for these responsible things. So my open-ended question would probably have to be, if it was truly up to us as society instead of like these big tech companies deciding what they did, what do you think like we would decide would be right and wrong, or liable and not liable, like as a whole, instead of just bigger tech companies altogether? I wonder what that would lead to.